So, in order to start the keel process, you need the keel template, obviously the instructions, and the 2 pieces of wood that's needed for the keel, which are parts 16 and parts 18. Now, as you can see, these are full of all sorts of garbage, and they recommend using a dentist pick. It's actually quite simple. Put it in. Work your way along. And it comes out. And you have to do that for every one of these things. It's a slow process, but you work your way through it. Eventually you get it all out and you end up with nice clean stuff like this. Be warned, the layer between there and the back is very, very thin, so if you get your hand at the back here, it's easy to poke this through and stab yourself. Anyway, I've cleaned out the relevant portions, which is part 8, part 19, part 16, and on the other board 17, 18 and 20. Now these are these portions down here. I'll finish cleaning those out and I'll show you how you clean them up. Once we've cleaned them up, we'll put them in position and start the alignment process. Alright, so let's now cut the bits out. And as you can see, there are little portions of stuff left on that need to be cleaned off. So it's those 3, and then we got these 2 bigger ones. Oh, very good. Make sure your knife's in sharp and tight. Anyway, I shall continue to cut these out and clean them up. As you can see, they're fairly easy to cut out. So after cutting out the first 6 pieces of the keel, which includes the deadwood. They were given a light sanding. As I said, the parts came out really easy, and all I needed was a number 11 blade to cut them out. We then have to put them into the template. Which is this guy. Now this template's provided by the Trident kit, and the instructions are simply to match the pieces up, fit them into the template and glue them into place. Well, let's see how they go. The first thing we do is remove the template piece, which magically comes out because it's been pre-cut. Haha. Now, I wasn't sure how accurate this would be, but it's quite amazing how well it puts together. So, we grab the keel piece, line that up, and that snaps beautifully into place. Let me zoom in a little for you so I can see what I mean. As you can see, that fits neatly into place, and then it's a matter of lining up the other pieces to see if they all fit, which is part 18, 17, 16, and the first part of the stem post, fits up, in and under there. And the second piece, which fits there. And you can see there's a little bit of difference in colour, however, I'm not particularly worried about that. Wood being wood, it's all natural, and this is dead wood, and it's sanded down and covered over in the end anyway. So that is how you complete the first portion of the keel. I shall use some pencil to show some lines in there and enhancements, and I'll give a sand up and a glue, and once she's dry we can take it out and continue. Now what I have done is put some wax on this, so hopefully the glue won't stick to it, and because I'm using a spare piece of Perspex here that I've used for previous modelling, I know the PVA glue doesn't stick to it and should hold it all in place while it all dries up and be sanded and cleaned afterwards. She'll get back to you once I've completed the gluing and the sanding up. So that's how you put the rear portion together. It's like magic. Well, I won't say it's like magic. So far, everything fits beautifully. There's been a lot of work and consideration put in place in this kit design. Right, so now we've checked all the pieces in place, add some glue, and glue the portions in. Start with these 4 pieces before I put the back section up. I can adjust anything I need to on the back section. And clean these up before adding more. Insert this all clips into place. And I'll use a couple of these clips to lock it in while it's drying. And we'll leave that to dry off for several hours before we add the next portion. And that should be that. And I've now added these two portions. These are now wedged in tight in the mould with the rest of the stuff. Waiting to dry. Remember this one, it has an extra lip which needs to go under that piece, not lined up against it, otherwise you won't get the gap at the bottom here as required. I don't mean the gap in between there, I mean the gap in between the base and the so-and-so, which is the slight edging. This will all be sanded down later using this guy to half its width, which is the deadwood. But we'll do that once it all dries up. Now that the deadwood area has glue's dried and it's all a solid piece of the keel, we need to mark the area where the tapering occurs for the whole planking. To do this, we use the template which is removed from here and put it on top of our keel area, and if we've put all this together correctly it should line up perfectly along there with a little dip along there and along there. Then it's simply a matter using a pencil to rule along the area, and if you take it away you can now see we've got the area with the deadwood that needs to be removed. Now because this is now complete, we've got a nice solid piece. We'll flip it over, put this template on the other side, we'll line it up nicely, and it gives us the area on the other side that we need to do. Now I'll shade that in. Now, alright, so here we are with the final piece now. I've shaded in that side, shaded in the other side so we know which area to take off. I've also taken that bottom line there and put a line across here and done the same thing there so we know where the tapering starts. That's 5mm wide there and 2.6 at this end. So what we do is put a centre dot in there and come out 2.6mm from the centre, or 1.3 either side. Draw some lines from there to there, which will give us a taper shape. Same thing here, except it's 5 there and 2.5 here. So we mark off the 2.5, taper it in again, and then we can taper the whole section there for where the planking goes up against this, so she ends up being nice and smooth against the rudder on the end here. It's going to take a while to taper that up, so I'll come back in the next video where it's all tapered, finished, and we'll start the next section of the keel. Thank you.